inside the system, leaving no external power brick to trip over. The Xbox One, on the other hand, retains the external power brick of the Xbox 360, leaving you with more mess behind your TV. On the front-facing side, you find a slot-loading Blu-ray disc drive, and to its right, two powered USB 3.0 ports, which can charge your DualShock 4 controllers even when the system is turned off. Spin the system around and you'll be met with an HDMI, Ethernet and a digital optical audio out port, as well as a proprietary auxiliary connection for the PlayStation camera. Inside the PS4 is all business. It has a custom single-chip processor that combines an 8-core x86 to 64 AMD Jaguar CPU and a 1.84 teraflop GPU based on AMD's Radeon graphics technology. That's backed by 8GB of megafast GDDR5 RAM and a 500GB mechanical hub. PS4, other than a few tweaks, the interface remains the same as on launch day. When Sony pulled the PS4 out of the shadows and started rattling off features, it mentioned one truly original and intriguing feature: saving and sharing gameplay videos with the press of the share button on the DualShock 4. At all times when playing a game, your last 15 minutes of action is being recorded. This can be disabled if you find it creepy or want to save on hard drive space. Play Share Play is one of the exciting new features for the PS4. Share Play allows players to let friends take control of the game they are playing, watch their in-game progress, and even let them invite friends to play with them cooperatively or competitively, depending on the game. Sony claims that PS4's overall performance is 10 times that of PS3.
Female executives like Marissa Mayer of Yahoo.com have proven that if given the opportunity, they can do better than their male counterparts. In Nigeria, there are numerous female executives leading a number of blue-chip IT companies, such as Main One, Google Nigeria. The current Minister of Communication Technology is also a woman, and many believe that she has performed well in terms of policies initiated. Our guest on the show today is Nkem Begho. She is a German-trained bioinformatics. She is the CEO of FutureSoftware Liimited and is one of the most decorated female IT professionals in Nigeria. She aspires to be Africa's leading online solution and e-learning expert. Welcome to Tech Trends.
Thank you.
What do you think are the challenges of women in technology?
I think the main challenges that women face in terms of getting into technology is that technology isn't presented to them as something that is appealing. You know, if you think about your techie, he's some dorky guy that's wearing jeans that he hasn't washed in 3 weeks, some t-shirt that is faded, and he's in front of his computer all the time. But there are other roles in technology that might be appealing to women, but those are not actually presented in that entire picture of a techie person, right? So I think that is one of the challenges. Another challenge is the fact that women are not introduced to tech at a young age. A lot, I mean, maybe nowadays, but in my generation, it was something that, oh, it's for boys. If, you know, you should play with your dolls and, you know, do that kind of stuff. And that is a very, very big barrier, because if you always see something as, oh, this is not actually for me, and this is not something I should be interested in, then you would never be interested in it. But if it's introduced to you at a young age and you feel that, you know what, this is something that is not necessarily dependent on a specific gender, then you would take interest in it and then you would actually look at it. I think another problem with women in tech is that women usually are, you know, we second guess ourselves a lot. So, you know, we will say, oh, okay, I can't do it, it's hard, you know, so something like programming, just because it's something that is very time consuming, it takes a lot of patience to learn, doesn't mean that you can't do it as a woman. You know, just because you see a lot of dorky guys doing it doesn't mean that you can't do it. However, it's, again, not appealing. So, and I think that is really what the entire tech industry is about. And that's why I'm very happy that, you know, women like Marissa Maya that you mentioned in your intro are actually trying to change that image, and they're showing you the sexy side of tech. They're showing you that a woman in a nice dress that looks like a Michelle Obama can still be in technology and lead a tech empire.
How can we get to encourage more women to take a look at tech as an industry?
I would say it starts with everybody that has a daughter and everybody that has a wife, for that matter. Because as a mother, you spend the most time with your kids. If you don't know anything about technology, chances are that your girl child is not going to learn anything about technology, because you won't be able to do that introduction. And a lot of fathers might not take the time to actually introduce their daughters to technology because they feel that, oh, they don't need it. And it's still like that. A lot of women that you meet nowadays, you know, they might have studied something like computer science, but they're still not as techie as the guys that are studying the same thing in the same university. And you see it all the time. You know, we judged at a competition last year, and there were teams mixed, boys and girls, and the girls were always the ones that gave the presentation. When you ask techie questions, they step back, and the guy comes and says, yes, well, this is how it is, and you know, I used this programming language and did that. And it's not that the girls don't know it, but they're not confident enough, you know, so you have to keep encouraging them and keep re-emphasizing that they can do it. So it's a different learning curve than, you know, what you would have for a boy who is just like, oh, I don't care, I'm just going to try it out. You know, all other boys have done it. Mark Zuckerberg has made millions, so I can do it as well, you know. And then there are not enough role models. So we have to have more role models. I'm actually happy that there are quite a lot of successful women in tech in Nigeria, but they're not enough. You know, so I think that we need more women who are successful, who also take the time out to mentor, take the time out to speak to girls and encourage them. And there are some fantastic programs actually going out, like the W Tech Summer Camp, and then the Girls in ICT Day that is organized by different organizations in Nigeria, where they bring secondary school girls together and they get professionals from the industry to come and speak to these girls and basically encourage them, explain to them that, you know what, you can be in tech and you can still, you know, be a Susie. You don't need, you know, you don't need to look ugly and dorky to be in that industry. You know, and I think that that makes it more appealing, because if you're a pretty girl and you like your heels and you like, you know, looking nice, you don't want to be in an industry where, okay, everybody wears jeans and everybody wears flats and, you know, nobody dresses nice and everybody is just very, very casual, right? You would want to be in an industry, you would want to work in entertainment, in fashion.
In banking.
In banking, yes, you know, where the women look like power women. But so I'm very, very happy that the women who are in tech in Nigeria especially are stepping up and, you know, they're dressing the part and they're showing young girls that you can be like us and still look hot, right? Because I think that's a very big consideration because of the perception that you have of a techie again.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's across the world, not just in Nigeria, across the world.
Definitely. I mean, and that's why I think that mentoring aspect is very, very important, and basically catching them young and giving them a good idea. Internships is another very, very important thing that we need to imbibe in our corporate culture, so that companies who are tech companies actually bring in as young as secondary school, because in the States, there are young kids, they're 11 and they're writing fantastic programs and apps, and we don't have that here, you know. I think obviously also education, but we're not going to go into that.
No, Nkem, I think it will be important for you to explain the various aspects of the IT industry.
Okay.
Because, you know, part of the confusion might be that they don't understand that there's content provision. You know, there's some industries that don't require programming. So I think it will help if you break that down a bit.
No problem. I mean, if we even go back let's say 2 years, right? Before Konga and Jumia came into the market, there were certain job titles that didn't even exist in Nigeria that exist nowadays, right? Social media manager, for